from Sunnyside Studios, welcome back to my channel, and I just finished my first ever convention at NYC, which turned out to be my most successful market ever. And I really can't believe I'm saying this right now, but I made over $10,000 in sales as a small artist selling my cute cat art. For me, this has been such a milestone because I've only started my small business Sunnyside Studios a little over a year now, and I never imagined hitting this number at my first ever convention. And so today I want to break down 5 strategies I used to ensure a successful market at my first ever convention. These are things I tested, tweaked throughout my experiences vending at local markets, and if you're planning for a big convention or your first ever market ever, I hope these tips can help you as well to have a successful market. And the first is branding. I cannot emphasize this point enough. At smaller local markets with maybe 20 vendors, branding may not seem as important. But at big conventions like Anime NYC with over 140,000 people, there are literally hundreds of booths all packed into the same space. People are walking by quickly, overwhelmed by visuals and noise. If you don't have a strong visual identity, you're just going to fade into the background like everyone else. For Sunnyside Studios, I built my branding around the colors orange and yellow. Even the name Sunnyside Studios comes from my last name Sun because I want my art to feel like sunshine in someone's day. So I repeat these colors everywhere, everything from my backdrop, my products, and my packaging. That way when someone sees a flash of orange and yellow across the room, they instantly recognizes me. And branding becomes your voice in the chaos. And it works even if you're shy about pulling in people verbally. So when you're thinking about designing your own brand, think about what emotions do I want people to feel when they enter my booth, when they see my products. And then use color, style, and design to reflect that feeling consistently, and that is good branding. And tip number 2 is definitely being flexible on your booth setup, because every market and convention has their own rules, they have their own booth sizing, and that's why you can't use the same setup for every market or convention. You need to adjust your booth setup according to the space you're given. So I'm used to 6-feet tables at New York conventions such as Renegade or Brooklyn Pop-Up, but at Anime NYC they gave me a 6-feet table. And these 2 extra feet doesn't sound like a lot, but in practice, it completely changes how you display things. With that space, I finally upgraded my keychain display. Before, I used this necklace rack from Amazon where the keychain sat flat on the table, and the problem was they were below eye level, so people would miss them constantly, and I had to verbally point them out to almost every single customer. And this time, with the 2 extra feet that I gained, I got a 4-tier jewelry display, and suddenly my keychains were right at eye level, and they became my bestseller at this convention. I also dedicated some of my leftover space to these new pastel cotton hats I designed, and people could literally try them on and look in the mirror, and that interaction literally turned so many browsers into buyers. And yeah, in summary, booth space is very precious, as you already know, so use every inch very thoughtfully and adapt your setup to the booth you're given so that you can maximize your sales. And the third is lights. If you've been following my channel for a while, you've definitely heard me say this before, but I am going to emphasize this again, how important lights are in big conventions and markets like Anime NYC. Humans are naturally drawn to light from a distance, so in a sea of booths that all have the same height, are all packed with beautiful products, light might be the final straw that will help your booth stand out amongst your neighbors. So Anime NYC didn't provide electricity. You had to pay almost like $300 for the weekend for electricity, so I didn't want to pay for that. That's why I bought these gold-colored magnetic and battery-powered lights from Amazon, and they were honestly such a good purchase. They matched my backdrop perfectly, and all I had to do was stick them on my metal backdrop and power them through a battery bank. And honestly, these lights lasted the whole of 8 hours, so I didn't even have to recharge them during the day. And these little details not only help your booth stand out, they also help it become more inviting. And when people are drawn to your booth, they're more likely to stop and shop. And now I want to share a tool that honestly made preparing for this convention so much easier, and that is Kittl, the sponsor of today's video. As a small artist, I juggle a lot, designing new products, making marketing visuals, and getting things print ready. And before Kittl, I felt like I was jumping between 5 different tools or apps just to get one product finished. And Kittl changes that. It is a browser-based design platform where you can do everything in one place. Advanced text effects, vector editing, mockups, and even AI-powered tools like background removal and upscaling. And for Anime NYC, I actually used Kittl to mock up my new hat designs. I could drop my illustration onto the product mockups instantly and see what they look like in real life. That helped me make design decisions faster and save me hours of second guessing for my marketing materials. It is also perfect for merch planning, whether it's prints, keychains, or apparel, because you can export at the right DPI and formats for print-on-demand manufacturers. And for you, I got a special offer. Try Kittl for free today using my link in the description below. And if you're ready to upgrade, use my promo code SUNNYSIDEYT for 25% off all Kittl plans, including the annual package. And that is a big discount only through new users through this promo code. So whether you're just starting or you're an experienced designer, Kittl definitely makes the workflow faster, smoother, and more fun. So definitely check it out in the link in my description. Okay, back to tip number 4, which I want to talk about pin rallies or stamp rallies. So at Anime NYC, I joined their Pinpalooza, which is their official pin rally, and basically vendors could design their own food-themed pins, and people could join like a scavenger hunt for these pins visiting these certain booths. And this became such a game changer because my cat love pin became one of the best sellers at my booth. And I think I brought 100 pins to this convention and I sold out almost all of them. And this was because I had people coming to my booth specifically for this cat love pin, and that is direct traffic to my booth, which I wouldn't have otherwise. And if you have the chance to join an official rally or even just a stamp rally made by your friends, definitely do it. It is fun for your customers and it's great for you. And my last tip is definitely to create engagement through a lucky draw. You have probably heard me talk about my gumball lucky draw machine that people love at every market and convention, and this was no exception at Anime NYC. A lot of people actually commented on my posts or on my social media that my gumball machine was really fun and they came here kind of specific for that, or they brought friends to play it together. And I was so happy to hear it because I was creating a fun experience for them and they were coming to my booth to support my art. So one thing I wanted to mention, which I just did just for Anime NYC, or such a large convention with over 140,000 people, was that I stopped giving these lucky draws as freebies, but instead it was for customers who made purchases over like $10 who could participate in this game. So if you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I've done this lucky draw for quite a long time, and in the beginning I opened it up to everyone. You didn't even have to be a customer. All you had to do was follow me on Instagram, tag 2 friends, and you could get a freebie, anything from a sticker to a print. And people really loved this, and this was really great for local markets or like slower markets. But at such a big convention, I didn't have enough freebies, or the cost didn't really make sense for me to open this up to everyone who was not even a customer. So just for this convention, I adjusted to people who made a bigger purchase, and this allowed me to control my costs while also allowing them to have a fun experience. And that is how I made over $10,000 at my first ever convention at Anime NYC. And this milestone just reminded me that with the right strategies, even small artists can thrive at huge events. And if you found this video helpful, feel free to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and again, a big thank you to Kittl for sponsoring this video. And don't forget the link and promo code SUNNYSIDEYT are in the description so you can start using Kittl today. And thank you guys so much for watching again, and as always, have a great rest of your day or night. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!